Church, I am going through some hot topics. This is the Going Through Podcast. To all my returning church members, baby, welcomes. And to all my new people, please, baby, please, make sure to smash that subscribe button and to also click that bell notification so you are notified every time I decide to upload a video. Now, church, look. We going through hot topics. I'm not going to waste no time. Start that intro. For all of y'all that had lives and couldn't keep up, Monique and her son set the internet ablaze last week going back and forth about their personal business. Here's my thoughts on it. Church, I was minding my business, moisturizing and following my bliss. And while I was scrolling through TikTok, I saw a video of Monique's eldest son, Shalon, speaking on his relationship with his mother. And when I tell y'all I was transfixed, I sat up in my seat and I watched the entire thing. And that led me to go over to Instagram and watch Monique's response to it. So I got a couple of observations for y'all. Number one, part of what made Monique's interview with Shannon Sharpe so compelling is that she was calm, cool, collected, and she made a lot of sense. Now, the same can be said for Shalon's TikTok because he was calm, cool, collected, and made a lot of sense. And I would never sit here and discount that man's experience, okay? Because at the end of the day, he lived it, okay? This is this man's lived experience. So I can't really say anything about it because he lived it, right? Now, number two. Monique sat up on Instagram with Daddy, who's her husband, Sydney, all right? And while I understand that, her and Sydney are a united front and they basically, attack everything together, Monique, if you had Shalon outside of Sydney, if there was ever a time for you to address a situation solo, this would have been it, all right? I'm not saying that his presence, didn't add any details. I'm just saying if this is not even his child to begin with, and the boy say he don't even have a relationship with him to begin with, exactly why is he there doing 90% of the talking about you and your son's relationship, okay? Number three. One of the things that Shalon said in his TikTok was that his mother would constantly throw money at him. And when the money didn't have the desired effect, he was labeled as the problem. He was labeled as ungrateful. He was labeled as the issue, okay? Then Monique gets on Instagram through Sydney. And Sydney says that the last time that Monique talked to Shalon, she was giving him, all the money he needed or all the stuff he needed for his, newborn baby. And the last time that Sydney spoke to Shalon, he was basically helping him finance a car and do negotiations on it. That's not the problem, okay? Shalon literally said he never had a problem with the money. The problem is that he did not have a relationship, did not have a mother-son relationship with Monique as he would have wanted, okay? So y'all bringing up money just serves to prove his point even further, right? And number four, Monique sits up on Instagram and says that Shalon has mental health issues and we just need to let this thing play out because she gonna be vindicated in the end, all right? Now, Shalon may have mental health issues. I don't know that brother's personal health information, but if he wasn't the one bringing it up, then exactly why are you, okay? Because all it serves to do is delegitimize what he's saying in his claims, okay? Because it paints the picture of Shalon crazy, y'all don't need to pay him any damn mind, okay? Look, even a broken clock is right twice a day. So even if he has mental health issues, that doesn't discount that he could actually be speaking a lot of good damn sense, okay? Now y'all drop down in the comments and let me know what you think about this situation and we'll talk later. Now, y'all know I love me some Real Housewives of Atlanta, and in case you missed it, Porsha Williams is coming back next season, and apparently her storyline is about to be lit, cause her husband is allegedly facing deportation. Do tell. Church, in the eternal words of Patti LaBelle, isn't it a shame that sometimes you have to laugh before you cry? My God, today. Now, Porsha Guobadia's return to the Real Housewives of Atlanta couldn't have come soon enough because allegedly her husband is facing deportation charges. Now, church, I have to say allegedly because we can neither confirm nor deny whether it is truly her husband on these forms. But between you and me, the person's first, middle, and last name matches Simon's. So I'm going to let y'all decide what you believe. Now, apparently Simon is facing this deportation due to numerous financial crimes, including credit card fraud and felony charges dating back to the 1980s. Child, ain't nothing worse than an old scammer. Now, as I understand it, Simon came to the U.S. on a visitor's visa in the 1980s. Now, he overstayed the visa but tried to get around that by marrying a U.S. citizen, but that didn't work because the government deemed it a fake marriage and started deportation procedures. So Simon voluntarily left the U.S. but later returned to New York on a 6-month visitor's visa. Now, while here for the second time, he was arrested on bank and credit card fraud charges, and since these were felony charges, the government instituted deportation procedures for a second time. Okay, y'all keeping up? But you can't keep a good scammer down, okay? Because in order to get around this, Simon obtained a green card using a fake identity and applied for a special immigration program that allowed him to stay in the U.S. Now, to make a long story short, Simon has applied for citizenship 3 times, and all 3 times he has been denied, with the most recent denial being last month. So unless Simon can pull another rabbit out of his ass, it looks like one of these deportation cases may stick. Now, Porsha, girl, what is we gonna do? You know, the saving grace of this whole situation is that the lion's share of his scamation predates you, so I would manufacture my most innocent face and pretend I had no clue about what the hell going on, and hell, they can't make you testify against your husband, no way. Now, Porsha, isn't it also great that the American wedding and the Nigerian wedding is posted all up and through social media, because you gonna need some memories to hold tight to and cherish, because if this case don't go his way, you might be in a long distance relationship with a man who's very soon gonna be in Nigeria. Now, y'all drop down in the comments and let me know what you think about this situation. Are you team Porsha and Simon, team immigration, or team y'all need to leave them Atlanta-based Africans alone? And last but not least, do y'all watch Love is Blind on Netflix? Now, I've never seen the show, but apparently the premise is that you don't see your potential fiance until after they propose to you, okay? Now, apparently there's a girl on there who done bamboozled her fiance into proposing to her by claiming to look like Megan Fox. And when he saw her, I guess that wasn't the case. Let's get into it. Church, a Love is Blind contestant is being dragged across social media for claiming that she looked like Megan Fox, leading people to believe she tricked her fiance into proposing to her. So that forces us to play a game of does she or doesn't she? Bitch stole my look edition. Now I'm gonna show y'all 3 photos of Megan Fox and 3 photos of the contestant whose name is Chelsea Blackwell, and then we'll talk. Let us begin. 1, 2, and 3. Now let's get ready for Chelsea. 1, 2, and 3. Girl, you think you look like Megan Fox, child? You got your nerve. In the eternal words of Tiffany New York Pollard, somebody lied to her several times, okay? Pretty girl, but I don't get Megan Fox. I get kind of like the love child between Jay Leno and Ruma Willis, but that's just my opinion. Now, y'all drop down in the comments and let me know what you think about this situation. Does she or doesn't she? Bitch stole my look edition. Now, let's get into a new segment that I'm calling Question of the Day. Now, our question of the day comes from Lydia, and Lydia writes, Dasher, how do you deal with disappointment? Great question, Lydia. I don't think that there's any one method of how people deal with disappointment, but since you asked me, I'm just gonna give it to you real, okay? And in reality, I shut down, okay? I'm not lying to y'all. I literally shut all the way down. Me and my friends have a rule that whenever you're disappointed or whenever you're going through something, because we're always telling each other, you know, I'm going through this, I'm going through that, you get one 24-hour period to basically feel all your feelings. Get mad, cry, throw things, you know, sleep, whatever you need to do in order to get yourself together, do that, okay? And in terms of the sleep, my friends always say that I practice escapism, which is basically when you try to put yourself out of your own, you know, situation. Some people do it a lot of different ways. For me, escapism is sleep. I don't practice las drogas or any other reckless type behavior, but I will sleep a problem off very often, because to me, sleeping is so great because you're not quite here and you're not quite gone. You're somewhere in the middle. And I always find that middle ground it kind of gives you such a good feeling of clarity and such a path forward that when I wake up, I know, number one, I'm going to feel better. Number two, my problems won't seem as big as they did before. And number three, if I don't have everything figured out, at least I have a first step, okay? So in terms of how I deal with disappointment, I feel all my feelings for 24 hours, I sleep, and then I move forward from there. So hopefully that helps you. And if any of you have any other questions of the day, please send them to datdamndasher@gmail.com with the subject line of question of the day, and maybe I'll be reading your question and helping you with your problem, or just telling you about my life as I did with Lydia today. Now, I think that's really all I want to cover in this episode of the Going Through podcast. So if you liked what I said, please feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. Follow me on all social media at datdamndasher. And until next time, y'all, I'm leaving y'all with the eternal words of LaToya Luckett. Put me in the trunk, Jesus, and help me not to block my own blessings. I'll go through with y'all again next week. Bye.